What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Now that Halloween's over and winter's upon us, I like to get an early start on my Christmas decorations. I'm currently building a life-size Nutcracker soldier, but in between the paint coats drying, I like to build these little reindeer figurines out of scrap wood that I have laying around the shop. It's real simple, and I'll drop the templates to it in the membership section of the channel. So if you're interested, stick around and I'll show you how I build them. I have a simple reindeer template I found some time ago online, but you can find tons of free ones yourself or draw your own. And I'll even put a link to this one in the channel membership section. Just make sure it fits your piece of wood and you're all set. Using a sharp pencil, I trace the outline right onto the wood. Take your time here. A clean line makes cutting way easier. You can also print the design out and use spray adhesive to attach it directly to the wooden block. But you'll have to repeat that every time you make one, and I personally make a lot of these every year. So they make great little gifts. You can add bows, red pin noses, bells, etc. So that's the reason I make them out of cardboard, just so I can keep making them over and over and over and not have to keep doing the printing and cutting. So just use your imagination and decorate them however you like, or just leave them plain. I have also done them using some mineral oil mixed with beeswax, and they turn out really good. But a lot of people, when I make them for them, they really like the ones that are dark stained bodies and then leaving the antlers lighter. So do whatever you like to do and just spruce them up a little bit. They're easy to sell also, but most of the time I just make them and give them to people for Christmas presents. So once you get your side laid out, just flip your block on end, and then using the narrow profile, I like to try to center it in the block. That way you get your cutoffs even that you will be taping back on later. So just try to keep it as center as possible, and it'll help you out when you get to cutting on the bandsaw. I've done a lot of these using 2x4 scraps and even the runners that you get a lot of times on pallets. I tear those apart and de-nail every one of them, and then I'll just cut them and use them. Now sometimes you will get a nail hole right in the middle of your reindeer head or his body, but I usually fix those with some small dowels or even toothpicks. Whatever you got laying around that you can mask in the hole. It's easy to put in and it's easy to cover up. So now with both sides already drawn out using your stencil, it's time for the fun part, cutting them out on the bandsaw. I'm using a 1/8 inch blade, and it's perfect for making tight curves and the tricky little antler details. Before you start cutting, make sure your blade tension and tracking are set correctly. And of course, always remember safety first. If you're not comfortable with your hands this close to the blade, I'd highly advise to use some sort of push stick. Always wear protection, keep your hands clear of the blade, and never rush a cut. I like to start cutting the narrow side of the reindeer first. This gives you the inner curves and defines the basic shape before moving over to the larger profile. Take your time around the tight turns. The 1/8 blade makes it easier, but you still want to keep it smooth. Don't worry if it's not perfect, we'll be cleaning it up later. But the smoother curves you can do and the tighter cuts will be the less sanding and carving you'll have to do at the end. The lower view of the video is one that I've done using the block from a pallet. As you notice, you see the nail holes there. I use a metal detector always to make sure there's no leftover wire or nail inside there, because you can really cause some serious damage to your blade and even yourself if you hit it just right. But I wanted to include this footage. I had filmed this last year or the year before, and I just never got time to post the video, having a lot of things going on and all that, but I wanted to make sure I posted that just so you could see that. I have the profile cut, I just use some regular masking tape to hold the halves back together. That keeps the piece stable and lets us cut the large side profile without the pieces shifting. Now it's time to cut out the main outline, the body, the legs, the antlers, and the head. This is where the reindeer really starts to come to life. Keep in mind there will be some sanding to do when you're finished if you want it to be smooth. So again, make sure you do your cuts precise as you possibly can. It will take a little bit of practice if you're new to a bandsaw, but if you keep it real precise here during the cutting process, you'll have a lot less sanding to do later. Or you have blade marks. The blade marks are really hard to remove in some of the tight areas. You may even have to use a Dremel tool. I like to hand sand them mostly, but sometimes I will use a sander, just the spindle that goes up and down type sander. They can help a lot on some of the places, but mostly hand sanding is the best, just to kind of get them as smooth as you would like them to be. I also try to avoid most of the places with tape first, because once you've cut through your tape, it's going to be real easy for your pieces to shift. And anytime you get a good shift in it and you don't realize it, believe me, there will be a lot of sanding and blade work to do to try to fix it. So if you do happen to cut through your tape, you can stop the saw and re-tape it, or just make sure to keep the pieces pressed together and that they're all aligned before making your next cut. Now if you kept all your cuts smooth throughout the whole process, when you're finished and you remove the two sides, a lot of people would go and throw these away. I usually keep the cut off sides and I make signs out of them. It went really well last year during Christmas time, where I had used the two halves and put them facing each other. You can also put them together, and if you would like, you could remove the antlers on one, making it a doe, and you can put their noses together and it makes a heart in their necks. It's real nice looking, and people really enjoyed all the oak signs I made last year with the halves of the reindeer. So once it was all cut out and I had thoroughly sanded it, I decided to stain the body and just tape off the antlers and left them natural. And then I just coated them with mineral oil and beeswax. And that's it. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. I'd be happy to help if I can. And remember, the templates for these will be in the membership section of the channel. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season and a Merry Christmas. Shout out to my channel members, K-Law, Vicky McBride, and T.S. Tree. You folks are appreciated. Please remember to like and subscribe on the way out, and I'll see you on the next one.